My ex-wife slipped into our room and shaved my current wife's head while she was sleeping, just to humiliate her at our daughter's wedding. I couldn't let that kind of cruelty stand without a response. What I did next made her run from the ceremony in tears. Before we go on, please subscribe to the channel and tell us in the comments where you're tuning in from. The phone rang sharply across the kitchen, like a sharp accusation slicing through the calm evening breeze coming in from my open window. I'd been slicing vegetables for supper, savoring that quiet routine after a long day of teaching about the Civil War battles that my students would likely forget come next week. The caller ID twisted my gut. Evelyn Hargrove. Just one day before Sophia's big day, and she was on the line. Calls from Evelyn never brought anything good these days. Hello, Evelyn. I kept my tone even, professional, the same steady voice I used when tough students questioned key historical details. Zane, I won't stand by while that woman spoils our daughter's wedding. Her words cut through the receiver with razor-sharp focus. No chit-chat, no warmth. Classic Evelyn. I laid the knife down gently, wiping my hands on the kitchen towel. Clara is part of my life now, and Sophia welcomed her herself. Family. She let out a harsh, bitter laugh. That illness survivor you latched onto. She's been your wife for what? 4 years. I gave you 15 years. Zane. 15 years and a daughter. My jaw clenched tight. Clara is my wife, and she'll be at the wedding. Sophia wants her there. Sophia's just being kind. She doesn't want to upset you. But seeing that woman up front where I belong alone, it's mortifying. I started pacing the narrow span of my cozy kitchen, phone tight against my ear. You'll have your spot up front. Evelyn, on the other side. That's how we handle these things as divorced parents. Don't you dare school me on divorce. Zane, you're the one who bailed on 15 years for some crisis-fueled dream. The words landed like a punch to the chest. I left because you were seeing that property agent behind my back. Let's not twist the past. Silence hummed over the connection. When she replied, her tone held that sickly sweet edge I knew all too well. Water under the bridge. Zane. What counts is Sophia's moment. And I'm warning you, if that woman appears, I'll make sure the whole crowd knows the truth about your so-called marriage. What do you mean by that? Oh, please. A frail lady who can hardly make it through a meal without dashing off to the restroom. Sophia deserves more than her pictures ruined by your pity project. My free hand balled into a fist. You wouldn't dare. I'm not issuing threats. Zane. Just facts. Some folks aren't built for big family gatherings, especially ones as delicate as your dear Clara. The venom in her voice yanked me back 6 years to those last brutal months, when every talk turned into a war zone. But now, she was aiming at an innocent who only loved me. Sophia invited Clara, and Clara will attend. That's final. We'll see. Her whisper dropped low. You were always too trusting. Zane, clinging to those storybook finishes. Some folks just don't get those chances. The call ended abruptly. I stood gripping the dead phone, gazing out at the New York City skyline as twilight shadows crept over my kitchen tiles. My hands trembled a bit from the rage, from that old powerless feeling Evelyn always stirred up. 6 years post-divorce, and she could still claw into me over the line. But this felt different. This time, she wasn't just striking at me. I set the phone aside, leaned on the counter, and shut my eyes. Evelyn's poison lingered, but my thoughts wandered to kinder eras for escape. days when her laugh filled the air instead of spite. I could almost taste the fresh coffee in our old place on Elm Avenue, sunlight pouring through those golden drapes she'd stitched by hand. She was 29 then, singing softly as she fixed breakfast, her auburn locks glowing in the dawn. Sophia was just learning to walk, wobbling between us in her little blue footies, and we'd scoop her up before she toppled. We'll age side by side. Right, Zane Evelyn had murmured one night, nestled close on our gray couch while Sophia dozed above. We'd caught a sappy film, and she traced lazy circles on my shirt. Swear we'll end up like the Johnsons next door, still linking arms at 70. I'd press a kiss to her crown, inhaling her floral shampoo. Absolutely. You, me, Sophia, always. Those lazy Sunday brunches with stacks of waffles, petals scattered about. Sophia perched on a stool to help pour syrup, Evelyn steadying her tiny grip, the three of us sticky with mess, giggling till it hurt. Evelyn would pull goofy grins to keep Sophia from the warm pan, turning into this whole other soul, tender, fun, nurturing. Holiday dawns were enchanting. Evelyn would fuss for days ahead, tying fancy ribbons on gifts, burning the midnight oil to put together Sophia's playthings. She'd brew rich cocoa topped with fresh cream while I voiced holiday tales. Sophia would nod off, wedged between us on the sofa, and Evelyn would breathe. This is it. Isn't it all I ever dreamed of? Those beach getaways to the Hamptons, claiming the same quaint cabin yearly. Evelyn showing Sophia how to shape moats, me firing up the grill on the tiny porch, sunset strolls by the waves, Sophia hunting pebbles while Evelyn and I mapped her tomorrow. She'll aim for Yale, Evelyn would declare surely. She's got your smarts and my drive. Back then, Evelyn's drive seemed like power, not control. She ran our world like a general. Timetables, menus, outings all mapped out. I'd return from the college to a set table, Sophia's lessons done, the place spotless. Evelyn beamed at crafting our flawless neighborhood bubble. Professor Dunhill's ideal partner, folks said. And she'd glow. She'd throw get-togethers for my faculty pals, winning them over with sharp talk and flawless dishes. I'd eye her over the dining spread, grateful for someone who got my work life and my craving for calm at home. Sophia's kindergarten debut. Evelyn weeping more than our girl. She's vanishing too quick. She'd sighed, eyeing Sophia vanish inside. That evening, she'd drag out scrapbooks, fingering Sophia's infant shots. Swear you'll hold on to how darling she was then. The hushed nights as Sophia grew, buried in books upstairs while Evelyn and I sipped Merlot and swapped day tales. She'd hear my rants on tricky pupils and office squabbles, dishing solid tips. You're far too lenient with them. Zane. Folks sometimes need clear lines. Even our spats differed back then. Fiery yet fair. Clashes over Sophia's bedtime or trip spots that wrapped in agreement. Not battle. Evelyn could dig in her heels, but she'd heed sense. We'd hash it out till we hit a fix that worked for us. Saturday flea markets. Evelyn scouting relics to fix up. Sophia and I hauling her finds. She spotted gems in worn pieces, sanding and coating till they shone pricey. Every item merits a fresh shot. She'd murmur, stroking a battered bench. You gotta spot the promise in it. Yet even in those bright recalls, faint splits showed. Evelyn's urge to rule every bit, her refusal to bend when plans veered, the clench in her jaw at Sophia's spills, the unasked tweaks to my office, tiny flaws then, brushed off in our warm routine. In my present kitchen, those fond glimpses ached sweet and sore. like flipping through shots of a lost soul. The glow dimmed nearing 2019, the year it all cracked. I'd caught shifts in Evelyn that spring. Fresh outfits, new scent, odd zeal for late-night reading circles that skipped the reads. Her cell turned constant buddy, pinging with messages she'd field in private. When I probed, she'd brush it off. Just office bits, zane, dull sales chats. But she'd guard the screen, angling it from view. The odd hours kicked off in May. Touring spots for out-of-state buyers, she'd claim, rolling in past 11 with tales of picky shoppers and drawn-out deals. Yet she'd dodge specifics on homes or names come morning queries. I stumbled on the first solid clue by chance in June, scanning our card bill for an odd fee. Supper for two at Le Cirque, that swanky French spot uptown, on a Wednesday when she'd sworn she was touring a loft in Brooklyn. My grip shook on the printout. $210 for the meal. Evelyn always griped Le Cirque was too steep, pushing us to easy joints for dates. But clearly she'd met someone worth the splurge. The path sharpened once I knew the signs. In stays on dates she'd tagged as agent seminars. Buys at lingerie shops when she hadn't surprised me in ages. Vino samplings, show seats, quick escapes, all doubled up. None mine. Facing her felt like leaping into void. I held off till Sophia headed back to school, then fanned the bills over our breakfast nook like trial docs. How long? Evelyn. She lingered in the frame, still in her sharp sales jacket, eyes raking the stack coolly. For a beat, I figured she'd bluff it all. Then her stance squared, and I spotted that bold streak I'd come to dread. You never truly saw me, Zane. She swept to the table, stacking the sheets tidy. 2 decades as Professor Dunhill's flawless match, sorting your world, charming your dull work crowd. Faking I craved no more. More of what we had it all. Solid home, stunning girl, steady cash. We had your idea of it all. She wheeled to me, gaze icy. Your tame suppers, your bookish crew, your clockwork days. Ever wonder what it's like to fade in your own union? The charge struck hard. Fade, I wove you into it all. You wove in your helpmeet, the part you cast me for. But when did you last probe my real wants? When did my hopes count? Your hopes, what hopes? Evelyn. You never voiced discontent. She barked a sour laugh. Would you have heard truly tuned in, or fed me one of your calm lecture lines? We faced off over the slab that held countless family feeds, endless glad chats. Now it loomed like a field strewn with her deceit proofs. Who's he? I murmured low. A guy who notices me, who sparks life in me, not just utility. The split dragged that fall like a drawn-out wreck. Sophia jetted home from uni, crushed, scrambling to bridge us. Can't you patch it? Therapy our kin, but Evelyn had cleared out. Hauling half our stuff and most our bonds, she'd snagged a sleek flat nearer the city heart, nearer her fresh start. Dropping Sophia for stays, I'd idle in the ride, staring at the glassy tower, pondering how 15 years could melt so total. The last form's ink dried on a dull November noon in my attorney's den. Evelyn sported a crimson frock I'd never clocked. Mane done fresh. She seemed sprier, brighter, wholly remade from the gal who'd vowed lifelong twosome. This frees us both. Zane, she said, exiting the hall. We each merit joy, but joy, I learned, isn't earned. It's crafted slow, brick by brick, with a partner eager to stack them. Now, in my kitchen 6 years on, I grasped why Evelyn's bite held such gall. She'd seized her liberty, her thrill, her reborn path, Yet Sophia's right dragged her face to face with the kin she'd wrecked, across from the woman who'd aided me in remaking what she'd raised. Clara hadn't swiped me from Evelyn. Evelyn had discarded me. The ride to Sophia's place in the suburbs clocked 45 minutes. Clara rode silent beside me as we wound the well-known path through New York countryside. She'd passed the morn fussing blooms for the next day's rite, her soft touch weaving grace amid Evelyn's foul warnings still ringing in my skull. "You set for this?" I asked, pulling into Sophia's lane, spotting Ethan and the haze green wagon already tucked by the oak. Clara fiddled her linen wrap, a leftover comfort from her healing stretch. "Sophia craves her kin blended tonight. I won't let your ex's grudge wreck that." Sophia swung the door wide with a bright strain, arms looping us quick. "Spot on. Ethan just wrapped the visitor setup, and the Hays are pitching in on meal fix." Her gaze probed mine. "All good." "Dad, totally." I pecked her brow, catching her rose lotion whiff. "Tomorrow will shine." The Hays folks stepped from the galley, flour speckling Susan's smock as she dried her palms. "Zane, Clara, we're rolling Sophia's grandma's bread bites. Kinright. Seems." Robert Hays gripped my hand solid. "Glad you're here. Ethan's tussling the sound gear in the den if you fancy aiding." Soon after, Evelyn's sleek gray Audi glided up with timed flair. Tardy for show, timely to claim no fuss. Through the pane, I watched her primp, dabbing new gloss before alighting in an ivory frock worth most folks' rent. "The crew's full up," Sophia murmured, clutching my elbow. Evelyn billowed in like a stage queen claiming spotlight. Sweet Sophia, my glowing girl. She hugged our girl with overdone glow, eyes sweeping to tally watchers. And Ethan, dashing forever. Her stare hit Clara. Clara, so sensible today. Evening. Evelyn. Clara's reply held firm, though I sensed her fingers grip mine firmer. "Sophia's spot is charming. Ideal for toasting. Sure, some toasts weigh more." Evelyn's grin locked steady. "Kin toasts. The real keepers. Every kin toast holds weight." I cut in, catching the sly snub in her phrasing. Sophia clapped sharp, "Galley time. All." Susan spilling Hays-kin lore, and Mom hauled her famed pasta bake plan. The supper prep turned a tense ballet of split bonds. Evelyn claimed the main counter, bossing flows like she'd helmed these bashes often. The Hays worked soft at the edge, trading knowing looks when sparks flew. "Clara, love," Evelyn cooed while hacking veg with extra snap. "Hope you're sturdy for tomorrow's whirl. Full days tax folks with your past woes." "I'm well. Thanks." Clara kept at her bloom tweaks, moves crisp despite the jab. "Cancer fighters show such grit," Evelyn pressed on, tone laced with fake care, though some fights scar deeper than most. My blade thwacked the board too hard. Clara's fully fit. Naturally she is. I just fret over strains. Right days overwhelm, especially for those new to big kin crowds. Sophia slid in like a peacekeeper. "Mom, aid me picking the reds. Dad, Ethan seeks tips on tomorrow's tune list." The night crawled via stiff talks and smart seat plots. Sophia had schemed the board spots sharp. Evelyn at one tip, Clara and me at the far, her and Ethan buffering center. The Hays took safe ground, posing tame queries on skies and free days. "This pad boasts neat guard tricks," Evelyn noted offhand, eyeing the wee lens tucked high. So fresh, so full cover. Sophia grinned wide. Ethan pushed the whole rig after last year's theft scares. "Lenses all over, trip alerts, full kit. Keeps me secure." How grand and tight. Evelyn's beam seemed extra smug. Home privacy's key. Post-supper. Sophia doled rest spots with envoy skill. Mom, blue spare above. Dad and Clara, teal nook down the way. Hayes get the prime visitor wing. She held, dawn comes quick, so recharge deep, in our slot later. Clara perched at the wee glass top, easing off her wrap and combing the locks she'd coaxed back over 4 years. Gentle chestnut curls snaring the glow. She's scheming, I said soft, double-checking our latch firm. She's forever scheming. Zane. But tomorrow's Sophia's. Nothing tops that. I eyed my bride, ready for rest, her ways soft and set. Post-treatment. She'd built comforts like these. The smooth wrap, the tender mane care, the rose balm easing her ease. Plain rights Evelyn had jabbed with knife skill tonight. Whatever her plot, I won't let her wound you. Clara beamed at me via the glass. She can't touch me now. Zane, not truly. Love outlasts her toxins, beyond our door. The house hushed into right prep quiet, but rest dodged me. Knowing Evelyn lurked somewhere up, brewing her next strike in this feud she'd sparked on our peace. A tug yanked me awake at 6:45. My body clock, tuned by years of dawn classes. Dawn light seeped the spare's pale shades, bathing all in warm amber. Right morn had dawned. Beside me, Clara dozed calm, her linen wrap neat despite night's shifts. She seemed at peace, lovely, spared yesterday's sly fights. I grinned, musing how lucky Sophia was with such skies for her vows, easing quiet to spare her. I slipped to the tiny bath, dashed cool on my face, scrubbed my teeth. The place stayed still. Even Sophia and Ethan held off. Fine. All earned shut-eye before the fest ahead. Back at our bed. I eased near Clara and brushed her arm light. Morning. Lovely. Right time's here. She roused slow, humming that faint tune she did crossing from dreams. I reached to tweak her wrap, set to greet her with a soft kiss. The cloth slipped under my fingers. My palms stilled, where full, lush strands should pad my touch. I met bare skin, slow with rising chill. I peeled the wrap's rim. Clara's mane was vanished, utterly gone. Not the slow shed from her old meds we'd faced 4 years back. This rang planned, vicious. A soul had wielded blades and sheared every bit, leaving mere fuzz on her crown. Clara, my throat broke. Sweet. Rise up. Her lids lifted, fog clouding her look. Zane. What's amiss? Words failed me. Couldn't shape the spite I beheld. Instead, I led her palm to her dome, watching her shift from drowsy ease to stunned dread. My mane. She bolted upright, both hands mapping her scalp. It's erased, all erased. The wrap dropped full, bearing the wreck's full reach. The doer held blade skill. Each strand snipped skin close. Task done, sans rousing us. Pro, plotted, paced. Oh God, no, no. Clara's cry cracked to wails. Not once more. Begging. Not once more. I drew her close as she folded. Frame quaking with the ghosts this breach stirred. 4 years of patient regrowth. 4 years mending. Undone in one eve of cold hate. Who'd pull this? I breathed. Mind already listing suspects. Someone breached our space as we slept. Clara drew back. Salt tracing her cheeks. The illness. When it fell before, I feared death. Feared I'd never feel whole again. You shine, mane or none. That doesn't shift. You miss it. Her tone bore ache sharper than flesh cuts. Sick. I'd face the glass and meet doom staring. Took ages to see life, full in me. And now, I scanned our nook methodic, hunting breach marks, latch held from within, pane sealed tight, no pry signs anywhere. Key access, I thought grim. One with house entry. Please don't swell this past need. Clara wound the wrap back, chasing some poise. It's Sophia's right morn. I won't sour her bliss. This ain't chance, Clara. Pure intent. My head spun logic paths. Ethan and Sophia'd never harm Clara. Hayes lacked cause. One soul fit access and grudge. The blades. I rifled the tight space. Drawers. Flats. The cutter took them along. Clara rose wobbly. To the glass over the bureau. Her image laid bare the ruin's span. Years' tender work wiped in one spite night. She tipped me off. I murmured. Phone chat Thursday Eve. Evelyn said you too breakable for kin rights. You can't pin it on her. Who gains from shaming you on Sophia's day, even if her, what's the clash win? She'll bluff. Sophia crushes. Right crumbles. But I strode for the door. Wrath drowning sense. A fiend had stormed our haven, struck my bride in the meanest way, and I wouldn't let them slip free. Zane. Hold. Clara snagged my sleeve. Mind Sophia. Mind what counts top. Top counts guarding my kin, all my kin. Stir from the galley below meant rousings. Ideal. Time for truths. I found Evelyn at the brewer. Back to the frame. She wore a soft peach gown and slippers to match. Mane prim despite the dawn hour. Too prim for fresh wake. Morning. Zane. She held off turning. Locked on spooning grounds. Early rise for a right day. You pulled this. Evelyn. My words rang kitchen-wide like blame. She wheeled slow. Face flipping from easy dawn cheer to feigned startle. Pardon, what did I do? Clara trailed me. Wrap clutched, tugging me from the clash I craved. Someone sheared Clara's mane as she slept. Sheared it clean. I pressed in, pinning Evelyn to her deed's weight. Your sole gainer from shaming her. Sheared her mane. Evelyn's eyes ballooned in drilled shock. Horrid. Who'd sink so low quit the act. Evelyn, you menaced her Thursday night. Said she too frail for kin bashes. I spoke no such rot. She poured brew, palms rock steady amid my barbs. I've been pure grace to that lady since she joined our circle. Our circle, it burst from me. You shattered our circle 6 years back. Boots pounded stairs as Sophia and Ethan burst in. Both in sleep gear, brows knit with doze and alarm swell. What's the row? Sophia pressed, scanning us. Dad. Why the yell? Someone sheared Clara's mane off in the dark. I laid out, eyeing Sophia's shift from muddle to dread. Sheared it all as she'd slept. Oh, heavens. Sophia flew to Clara, soft on her veiled crown. Who'd unleashed such vile? Your mom, I stated blunt. Zane Dunhill. Evelyn banged her mug on the slab. How bold to tag me with such nonsense. I've stayed in my nook all eve. Ethan eased betwixt us. Palms out calm. Folks, ease up. Let's sort this cool. Nothing to sort. Evelyn pushed, tone climbing indignant. Perhaps she did it solo for spotlight. Some chase drama anyway. Don't you? I lunged, but Clara snared my arm. Halt, she urged low. This feeds her aim. The haze framed the door. Pulled by the din, Susan cinched her wrap snug. Brow furrowed worry, while Robert gauged with keen gaze. What if an outsider? Evelyn tossed. Warming her show, this block's seen prowlers. Pad was bolted. Ethan noted soft. Guard net live. No outer breach. Then kin within struck. Evelyn fired back. Though I can't dream who'd stoop so mean. Sophia dropped to a seat, her right glee fracturing. Today was for flawless. How's this unfolding? 'Cause your mom can't bear my peace, I said. Tone lethal hush. 'Cause she'd torch a kin rather than own her slips. I won't hear these wild tags. Evelyn snatched her brew and aimed for the frame. Some of us got a right to ready. Fleeing won't erase your act. She halted at the brink, wheeling with a beam chilling my veins. Zane, love, you always spun wild tales. Maybe mull if your bride's state clouds your sense. That last dart's spite stunned all wordless. Even Sophia gaped at her mom with fresh sight of Evelyn's core. Clear out, I murmured low. This ain't your turf, Zane. Clear this galley for I act will rue. Evelyn's beam spread. See, shaky, as I foresaw. She billowed out, trailing wrecked dawn hush and splintered right hopes. Sophia hid her face in palms while Ethan stood lost by her, clueless how to mend the breach. So sorry, Clara breathed to the air. Never meant this mess. But Evelyn erred on one key bit. As I watched my bride soothe my gutted girl, I recalled Sophia's offhand last night. Something on lenses, something on full guard webs logging all, hold. Sophia paused mid-breath, palm to lips. The guard lenses. Ethan! We've got coverage house-wide. Ethan's gaze flared with grasp. The net logs auto. We pull any span from past month. My pulse raced. Reckoning. Ironclad proof of Evelyn's cold spite. Brilliant, I said. Heading the den where their media wall ruled. Let's view true events. Evelyn iced at the galley frame, mug quivering faint in her hold. Truly. No need. Let's ready the right. The right. Sophia's tone split with hurt. Mom, a fiend struck Clara in our pad. Our spare. We gotta know who. Ethan worked the wall screen, pulling the guard dash. Lenses dumped to net store. Hit any slot last 30 days. This farce, Evelyn griped, but her command waned. No call cramming all to gawk. All must. I broke firm. All need the facts. The haze edged in wary, drawn by the stir. Susan tugged her wrap close while Robert weighed sharp. Wise. What's brewing now? Susan asked, gentle. Guard clips from Eve. Ethan spelled, scrolling screens. Someone sheared Clara's mane asleep. How grim. Susan gasped, palm to chest. Who'd unleash such dark? Ethan nabbed the right pane. Here. What hour to scan? Try near 1:30 a.m. I tipped. Deep sleep hits most then. The pane bloomed multi-views. Hall shots, stair watch, spare wing scan. Ethan sped through blank stretches, clock flying eve to morn. There, Clara breathed, jabbing the glow. Motion. Ethan eased the roll. A shape ghosted the upper hall, creeping toward our spare. Held a wee gleam. Blades sure. Steps sly as night. Dim hall light or not. The form rang clear. Mom, Sophia gasped. Scarce a breath. That's you. Evelyn's mug tumbled free. Smashing on the tile. Black brew pooled like blame. The clip rolled, showing Evelyn near our latch. She held, ear to wood, then eased the knob. The view flipped as Ethan picked the spare hall feed. Sharp on Evelyn slipping our door. She's got passkeys all rooms. Ethan said low, pad keys. Never dreamed. We viewed in chilled hush as Evelyn vanished our nook for near 18 minutes. When she slipped out, blades gone, palms bare, but stance smug, task nailed. Clock marks 1:32 a.m. to 1:48 a.m. Ethan clocked. 16 minutes in your space. Sophia wheeled to her mom. Tears carving paths. How plot such mean it ain't as it seems. Evelyn faltered. Tone thin. I just checked rounds. Sure all safe. With blades. I pressed. For 16 minutes. Robert Hayes voiced first. Tone of his old coach days firm. Mrs. Hargrove. The clip's plain. Time for straight talk. Evelyn's cool, shattered full. She just gleamed brighter than me. Her fine mane. Her fine bond. Her fine small world post-illness. Know what it's like watching another snag all you fumbled. Hush gripped but for Clara's soft hitches and Evelyn's rough breaths. So you chose to recast her as ill once more, I said. Tone death still. Chose to steal the mane she'd reclaimed after battling breath. I trimmed light. Evelyn whined faint. It regrows. No lasting harm. No lasting. Clara lifted through her damp. Grasp what that regrowth meant. What it stood for, Sophia slumped to seat. Palms veiling face, my right morn, you wrecked my right morn. I wrecked naught. You're all bloating this past sense. But even Evelyn heard her plea ring empty. Proof stood iron. Crisp feeds of cold mean. Caught multi-way with exact clocks. I reckon Robert Hayes said wary all need space to chew this. Ethan froze the feed. Last frame locked on Evelyn's smug slip from our spare. Hush dragged uneasy till Sophia spoke. I need you gone, Mom. Gone from our pad till you can own it right. Sophia, dear, it's your right morn. Just so. My right morn. And I won't feast ringed by one so schemed in spite. Evelyn scanned for backers. Finding zilch. Even Susan Hayes, born smooth and warm, dodged her gaze. Fine, Evelyn said at last, spine snapping stiff, a move from our split days. If that's your play, she billowed out with what grace a caught crook could claim, trailing the smashed mug and raw truth of her strike. 90 minutes on. Clara and I sat in my ride, easing from Sophia's as weighty quiet hung. She needs room to ready, I offered, though Clara hadn't quizzed our swift pull. And truth, I need air to mull. Clara tweaked her wrap in the dash glass. Moves measured. Swear you'll drop this. Zane. The plea struck like a gut shot. Drop it after that feed. Swear it. Her tone edged desperate, like her old sickbed pleas. Can't stomach more strife today. Sophia's rights for light. Not payback. I swung to the throughway. Fine spring light poured our pains, clashing the dark swelling in me. Fine skies for vows. Fine skies for balance, too. Deeds carry weights. Clara, true weights. And some fights ain't worth the scar. She turned to me. Eyes mirroring hurt past this morn's breach. After all I've weathered, battling sickness and claiming win, I've learned true stakes. This misses. This ain't it. This is one willfully striking you, shearing the mane you clawed to reclaim. The mane rebounds, she said, hush, but kin wounds may not knit. Sophia just ousted her birth mom from her right morn. Ain't that plenty? I clutched the wheel harder, joints pale on dark hide. Ain't near plenty. We rolled quiet miles, past known markers on our city loop. Suburb homes yielded to town crush, but my head stuck on that clip. Evelyn's sly prep, her timed strike, her glee at sealing her foul work. You don't get it, I said at last. You frame this through true peril lens, real trials. But I frame it as one who slipped guarding you. Slipped guarding. Zane. You couldn't block this. I could have pushed for a stay over. Could have clocked her threat. Could have... Enough. Clara spanned to graze my arm. Her picks ain't on you, but mine are. Something in my pitch made her hold tighten. What means that? Means I can't pardon this aimed spite. Can't act it vanished. Can't let her dodge the toll. What toll dodging reply? I veered our hood exit. Head-churning paths. Evelyn had shamed Clara open, aimed on our girl's right morn. Balance called equal hit. Swear it, Clara urged again. Voice tinier. Swear no ramp this. I swear I won't mar Sophia's right. That's not equal. No, it ain't. We nosed our drive half-hour later. Talk dangling, strain crackling us. Clara climbed slow, drain clear in each step. Morn's shock had sapped her bare. I'm crashing 'fore we suit up, she said, dodging my gaze. Please skip fool moves while I doze. I watched her to our stoop, frame bowed with loss and wear. She'd bested sickness, rebuilt trust, reclaimed life. Evelyn had slashed all that with blade care. In our den, I poured brew and sank at my nook slab. Same spot her call birthed this storm days back. But now I held edges I lacked then. Proofs, eyes, and sharp sight of Evelyn Hargrove's true grain. My cell pinged Sophia's note. Dad, gutted on Mom. You and Clara sound right holds at 3 p.m. Love you too. I tapped back. We'll show. Skip your glow day never. But held what else I'd tote to that right. Evelyn craved mind games. She'd picked wrong foe. As Clara napped above, I dialed lines. The Grand Plaza Hotel stretched over 2 blocks of trimmed lawns in Manhattan, its brick front shining in late noon glow. Flawless spot for Sophia's vision right. Graceful, classic, room for cheer and, if called, open truths. It's stunning, Clara breathed entering Maine. She'd picked a deep teal gown suiting her wrap, poised past Morn's scar. Sophia picks sharp. I squeezed her palm soft. She draws from both her folks. Vows in the hotel's yard patio. Feast after in linked hall. Kin and pals streamed in. Blend of Sophia's job crew. Ethan's tech mates. Far kin who'd trekked for the joy. We claimed front seats. Kin block-tagged with bloom posies. Cross path. Spots yawned empty. Evelyn's claim idle. Think she'll dare show? Clara asked low. Oh, she'll strut. Evelyn skips no drama cue. Robert and Susan Hayes neared, suited crisp, somewhat steadied from Morn's shocks. They picked seats wise, wedging twixt kin zones like envoy shields. Zane, Clara, Robert dipped head formal, holding steady. We're set, I said. Today's Sophia's light. True. His gaze held unasked probes too kind to voice. More streamed. Sophia's school chums. Ethan's kin from Jersey. Hood neighbors. Plain souls in plain lives. Blind to the mind wars pre this cheer, the harp group struck march tunes, cueing right kick in 10. Still no Evelyn. Maybe she bowed out. Clara hoped soft. Then I clocked her. Evelyn swept yard gate like a film queen at gala. Ivory silk gown likely topping most rents, with pearls and lifts adding 2 inches. Overkill. I clocked. Her bid to drown Morn's shame in sheer flash. That frock's off, Clara noted low. Too grand. Too spotlight hungry. Evelyn held at gate, eyes raking crowd sharp. Spotting us, her beam turned hunter. She wove the path, halting to air-kiss guests with big warmth. Clara, sweet. Her call rang yard wide nearing our block. That rap's so handy for your spot. Near guests wheeled, catching strain, unsure source. Hello, Evelyn. Clara met even. You seem starved for eyes. just toasting our girl's peak. Though guess some cope strains their way, my teeth ground, but I held seat. Not time, not mid-vows. Evelyn kept her act, staking prime front cross us, waved kin, puckered for far aunts, owned the glow like co-star. March swelled, right crew filed. Ethan's best men paced sure, then Sophia's maids in pale lilac. At last, Sophia shone on her aunt's arm, my sis Laura from Texas, who'd winged in to walk her. She beamed pure, gown silk trailing, veil snaring breeze, face alight with raw bliss. For a tick, morn's foul faded. This ruled, Sophia's spark, Sophia's path, Sophia's flawless beat. The right flowed smooth, deep oaths, tear ring swap, old flame join light. Sophia and Ethan locked eyes with that bond making watchers trust eternals. But through, I tracked Evelyn's stance and ploys. She patted eyes with silk scrap at tender peaks, posed for snapper pulls, murmured asides to near souls. She's weaving her yarn, I breathed to Clara mid-ring bit. Casting doting mom, let her, Clara breathed back. Long as she spares Sophia's beat. The lad hailed them wed. Ethan kissed Sophia tender deep as cheers burst. Snapper lights popped, nailing the flawless for keeps. As fresh pair strolled path back, crowd shifted to feast zone. Drink span ran 75 minutes, then eats and sway. Time aplenty for my scheme. Zane, Clara snagged my arm rising. Whatever brews, rethink, I'm brewing balance. I said low, and balance needs open light. She probed my eyes, spotting unease. Swear no wreck to Sophia's feast. Swear no wreck to what counts. But Pathinghall, I patted my coat hold once more. The stick with Morn's guard feed felt firm, aimed against my digits. Evelyn craved plays. Tonight, she'd learn true code. The cue hit with glass tingles and hall lights soft fade. Feast mains wrapped flawless. 4 plates of posh hotel fare. Reds loose. Crowd loose glad. Sophia shone bride bright. Ethan beamed side her, both blind to brewing gale. Speech hour, the right lead called, tweaking mic at front. Father of the girl first. Clara's palm met mine underboard. Squeeze soft. Keep it plain. Zane. Just bless their light. I rose slow. Stick weight and coda pull. 70 guests turned keen faces my way. Drink flushed, trusting. Flawless crowd for my map. Thanks all for joining Sophia and Ethan's glow right. I launched. My teach voice clear hall wide. Today marks not just vows, but 2 fine kins weaving. Cheers rolled soft. Sophia beamed proud while Evelyn, at far board, smirked content. She'd worked the throng eve, mending her pull post-morn fall. Sophia, you dazzle, and Ethan, luckiest soul to claim such rare gem. More cheers, bonds school us on care, pledge, and key, shielding what we hold dear. Shielding weighed heavy, though lone I grasped yet. Many know my bride Clara beat brave war on illness 4 years past. I angled to her slight, noting her tense at the surprise tack. For 18 months she shed her lush mane to meds. When it crept back, it meant past looks. It marked her win or woe, her grit, her hold, her dawn. Soft sighs of care and awe rose from those wise to Clara's trail. She looked baffled, but warmed by open nod. That mane mattered to her. To us who cherish, Evelyn fidgeted her seat, maybe scenting speech's odd bend. Her grin strained. This morn, A shade slunk our spare as Clara dozed sound. My tone firmed clear. A soul snipped her mane full with blades, baring her head anew. Shocks gasped Hall. Guests swapped stunned looks while Sophia paled with growing dread. This held no mishap or jest. Pure aimed spite to shame an illness victor on her girl's right day. Evelyn half stood, cheeks flaming. Zane, this unfit. The doer sought to strip Clara's grace, her surety, her win mark. I pressed sans, noting the break. Sought to recast her frail, open, broke once more. End this now. Evelyn's cry cracked panic. That doer was Evelyn Hargrove, bride's mom. Words dropped like rocks in still pool, rippling stun room wide. We've got sharp feed proof of her aimed moves, snagged by guard webs in Sophia's pad. Dead hush seized Hall. 70 faces flicked twixt me and Evelyn, chewing accusations heft. She struck a soft soul to feed her envy and gall, breached our kin pad safe to wage this mind siege. Evelyn rose full now, palms quaking, rage, fear mix. You're shredding Sophia's right day. No, Evelyn, you shredded it picking spite fit. I'm just sure all grasped the soul in our kin weave. I sank to seat as stun hush dragged Hall. Talks burst table by table, low urgent swaps as guests soaked the drop. Evelyn stood lone in scorn seas. Zane, Clara breathed. Tone horror gratitude blend. You needn't have. Yes, I did. I pressed her palm soft. Balance called open hit to open spite. Sophia eyed her mom cross Hall. Look cycling betrayal. Revile. Deep letdown. The dream right turned reckon full. The iced hush dragged eternal feel, though likely 20 seconds. 70 guests froze, glasses shelved, mulling the wreck drop, shattering cheer air. Then murmurs sparked. Did he say she snipped an illness gal's mane? The hum from Sophia's school table, voices clear in dead hall. While she slept, a tone, aghast unbelief, utter vile. Robert Hayes voiced loud for near boards. His mate Susan nodded hard. Face grooved true revile. Evelyn stood at her board, hunting any back or balm. None. She tried mend. You're catching one tail slant. She rang shrill, desperate. Zane swells it for show. We viewed the feed mourn. Sophia said hush, but Hall clear. Mom, we all saw you strike. Group gasp swelled. Feed proof killed doubt or swell. How strike an illness survivor, so Susan Hayes' tone shook feel. She stood from board, straight to Clara, palm soft on her frame. Dear, your grit to stand here tonight stuns. Other guests stirred too, from Evelyn's board to ours. The shift spoke volumes on leanings. No pardon for that dark play, boomed my college mate Prof. Ellis, known for even takes. Striking sleep-bound, coward move. She ought shame deep. His mate tacked, voice unchecked. Evelyn's hue wheeled reds as she clocked her pull drain live. I shielded kin claims. She aimed to eclipse me at my girl's right. The plea soured worse. Guests near recoiled at the self-bit, shielding your claims. Sophia rose. Gown whisper sharp with her push. By striking my stepmom asleep. Snipping mane she reclaimed post-illness fight. Ethan steadied his fresh bride's frame with palm. Mrs. Hargrove, reckon you best head out. The nudge hung verdict-like. Guests dipped yes while Evelyn scanned wild for holdouts. Sophia, love, you can't oust your birth mom. You ousted self with deeds. Sophia held firm, ashamed to claim you kin now. The lone lock sealed grim. Evelyn's board cleared as old mates found outs. Talks flowed round her, but she sat out, outcast at her own girl's right. Can't credit years knowing her sons clocking her dark reach. A whisper trailed me. That poor soul, another said of Clara. Best illness and have one willfully snatch her mend mark. Monstrous. Clara sat calm by me, taking balm from steady guest stream to our board. Her grace amid open drop awed. Warm, steady, truly warmed by backs. Thanks. She met each. Your care weighs deep. Evelyn tried last grip bid. This should toast Sophia and Ethan. You're letting Zane sour it foul. But charge flopped. All wise the foul sparked her. Not its light. Some deeds call tolls. I said hush. Words reaching near. Spite earns no quiet prize. The feel struck true. Yes, nods swept crowd as guests owned balance and open call for hid wrongs. Evelyn clutched her bag shaky, owning her spot untenable. The hall trek to out meant full room cross under scorn eyes of 70 witnesses to her fall. She took first step doorward, and her spite's true tolls kicked. The hall cross dragged like scorn lane. Each stride Evelyn took out past boards of guests trailing her with bare contempt. Let down. Talks held, swelled, walling her flight in low blame hum. After all Clara endured, a voice breathed as she neared. The spite's sheer breath steal. Another chimed. Evelyn held head high, chasing grace, as her built self cracked round her. But I clocked her palm shake, heel hitch, breath quick shallow. She held at hall brink, wheeling for last plea. Sophia, don't let him flip you on your mom. Sophia looked from headboard, ringed by chums and Ethan's kin. Backs and ease. Ain't flipping you. Mom. Flipping from one who strikes soft asleep. The last cut struck Evelyn blow-like. Frame sagged tick 'fore she squared again. In that move from our split, fake bold veiling full fall, she vanished doorway. Trailing scorn whispers ring, and crowds shared breath ease. Zane, Clara said soft, palm finding mine on board. Thanks for my shield, always. I met full. Sophia neared our board. Gown silk trailing like grace cloud and mend. Dad, I get why you struck. Some wrongs can't fade quiet or pardon soft. Your light tops, I said, rising to hug. Couldn't let her spite taint this day. Ethan joined, arm looping his new mate's waist. Sir, took real nerve airing that. Clara earned balance. And truth, we all did. We earned sight of true souls in play. The haze neared, both jarred but eased. Prof. Dunhill, Robert said formal, your strike took vast grit. Some plays call open reckon, none strike illness victors. Susan tacked firm, least not kin, that soul needed toll face. Round us, feast thawed to cheer flow. Guests stun frozen, sparked talks, laughs anew. Strain fading mist-like. Band struck soft back tunes. Staff wheeled post-drink rounds. Glance round, I said to Clara, waving the fresh joy. All here back you, honor you, ringed by souls seeing your grit. Grace, she beamed. First true beam all day. I feel it. First since morn, I feel held, prized. Sophia swung headboard where Ethan cued cake slice. Snapper nabbed joy beat after joy. Shots locking days win or trials. A college pal neared, glass in hold. Zane, nailed flawless, gave that soul exact fit. Open reckon for hid spite. Balance called match hit. I met. She craved open shame for Clara, so open light fit. Through hall panes, I glimpsed Evelyn's gray Audi peel lot. Tail glows lost to dusk. She fled solo, pull crushed, name dust. Exact toll her deeds earned. She'll pause for striking next, Clara noted low. She'll pause for facing this crowd again. I tweaked. Some spans burned stay ash. As Eve rolled, guest stream hit our board with back words. Cheers for my guard play. Real warmth for Clara. The weave spoke clear on worths. Spite barred. Soft shielded. Balance struck. Sophia and Ethan's lead sway launched. Slow glide seeming to rinse Eve's old gale. They flowed sync perfect, lost in eyes, ringed by care and back from true souls for their bliss. Flawless close. I breathed, eyeing my girl claim her dream after all. Clara leaned my frame, content peace first in days. Balance struck. Kin guarded. Care wins. Yes. Flawless. The fest stretched deep Eve, but true win locked prior. Sharp show spite tolls. Soft guard worths any pull cost. And open light soul fit for hid wrong. Evelyn learned a mark she'd not shake. Some deeds call open reckon, some souls won't hush to bully. Justice scales, tipped by her cold spite, balanced fresh. As the evening waned, the ballroom hummed with renewed joy, laughter weaving through the air like threads of healing silk. Zane drew Clara nearer, their quiet strength a shield against the storm. Sophia swirled in Ethan's arms, her steps light, her heart unburdened, stepping boldly into tomorrow. What moved you deepest in this story of hidden wounds and hard-won grace? Share your impressions below, in the comments. Did Evelyn's spite echo any shadows from your own world? Pose your questions here. Let's connect, exchange thoughts, build this space together. Interact with the channel like if it stirred you. Subscribe for more tales that linger. To hear the next story, click the box on the left. Thank you, truly, for sharing this moment.